short-let apartment in Lekki, dead CEO, sugar baby who claims she walked in to meet him dead, state prosecutors who believe she killed him, and the public who's unsure what's happening and are eagerly waiting for a verdict to be passed sometime this year. This is the case of Michael Ataga, and since this case is still on trial, we will not be having the final answers, what judgment is passed or who is punished and who isn't. So for now, we will talk about who Michael was, who Chidinma is, and how they're connected to each other and why one of them is dead and the other is being accused of killing the other. So again, I beg for your indulgence as I butcher names. So in order not to butcher so many names, I will be sticking to first names for most, or if not everyone in this case. So let's get to it. First, disclaimer. Today's case is about murder, drugs, and betrayal. So if these are very sensitive topics for you, please take a break, do something that's absolutely fun, and I will see you in the next one, okay? Take good care of yourself. Let's get into today's case. Who was Michael? We will start from the very, very beginning. Michael was born in 1971, and he was born into a middle-class family. He was a very smart person, smart kid, and his parents were very strict parents. They only expected the best from their children, as they also ensured that they provided the best for their children, the best education, the best life, the best air, the best everything. And Michael also, before the early 2000s, he had already bagged a couple of degrees. He got a degree from University of Benin, where he studied business administration and management, and he also got professional knowledge in ICT and broadcasting, which set him up for his future venture as the CEO of Super TV, which is a broadcasting company that he starts in 2013, where the company streams all types of entertainment. So before he starts the company in 2013, he is married to a lady called Brenda, and she's a very smart woman. She's very private, and even throughout the case of Michael's murder, she has been very private about it and also protected her children from the public. So Michael, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but his full name was Michael Lucifo Ataga. He started the company, like I said, in 2013, and in 2022, he meets a girl. 49-year-old man meets a 20-year-old girl. They meet through a mutual friend. 20-year-old girl who is a student in University of Lagos versus a CEO of a multi-million company, and he owns houses in places like Banana Island, VGC, and he drives luxury cars, and he was known to be philanthropic and very kind and gentle, and he worked hard to pave way for others to be able to make their own marks in the entertainment industry. But this is a very powerful man we're talking about. Having said that about Michael, who is Chidinma? Well, her name is Chidinma Ojukwu, but I will call her Chidi throughout the case. Well, Chidinma was born in 2000, and when she was born, her parents were still together, but 2 years after she was born, her father and her mother separated, and her father went his own way, and she continued to live with her mother. When she was 11, it's said that her mom caught her smoking at the young age of 11. She was smoking cannabis, and her mother was livid. She was very, very upset and also very sad about the case, because she's wondering why her 11-year-old daughter is doing drugs. So her mother sends her to her uncle in Mission in Lagos, and she lives with the uncle from the age of 11. And as a teenager, well, she grows wilder and wilder. If you have a teenage child or a preteen who's going through their rebellious phase and they're having this rebellious streaks, the last place you want to send that child to is Lagos. And of all the places in Lagos, mainland, Okay, in my previous episode, I did mention that I lived in Lagos. I lived on the island. I lived in Aja, but I had been to the mainland just once in my life. Actually, twice. Once to the market and once for work. I was so scared. It's always on the move, move, move. If you're not careful, someone could literally steal your soul in public and you wouldn't know who. It's a very fast metropolis. Lagos is for the fast and sharp people. So, a child who's going through a rebellious phase and you send that child to Mushin in Lagos, just know that whatever you think you saw, it's going to get worse. She does get worse to the point that her uncle believes that she's too much for him and he kicks her out. So now we have a teenage girl who has been abandoned by people who she considered to be important people in her life. She's been abandoned by family. Picture this: her dad leaves her at the age of 2, her mom sends her to live with the uncle at the age of 11, and then her uncle kicks her out on the streets. So these are 3 important people in her life who have abandoned her. So while she's on the street, she meets a foster father who takes her in and cares for her. His name is Ojukwu, and she feels very upset at her family, as I guess one should feel, because at the end of the day, whether she's rebellious or not, she's still a child, and she believes that no matter what I do, these people are supposed to love me unconditionally, and they're just abandoning me because they feel I'm too much for them. So she is very angry at her family, so she changes her name from Chidinma Blessing Ojukwu, from Chidinma Blessing Ojukwu to Chidinma Ojukwu, taking on the last name of the foster father. Now, it's said that her mother did not approve of her living with this foster father, and there are so many allegations flying about her relationship with the foster father which are questionable. She has a foster father, and she gets into University of Lagos and she's studying mass communication. As at the time of the crime, she is in level 300. How did she meet the CEO? Where did she meet? And because a girl like that, a student from a humble background, doesn't just stumble upon a CEO who lives in places like Banana Island. You will never ever meet them by accident. You don't roll in their circles. So how does she meet him? She confirms that she met the CEO through a mutual friend. This mutual friend is her friend's boyfriend. She has a friend who has a boyfriend, and this boyfriend happens to know Michael. So one time, they're all hanging together and Michael shows up. And, well, let's say he is interested in her. And hearing her speak, she sounds like a smart girl. They meet in November of 2020, and it said that they didn't start seeing each other right away. They weren't involved right away, and sometime later they started to see each other, in a more romantic setting. According to Chidi, they were together for 4 months before he ended up dead. So we're going to skip over to the days leading up to his death and the events leading up to his death. Chidi's at home. She gets a phone call. She picks it up and she's like, hello. And he goes, hey. And it's Michael. And he's like, okay, my birthday's coming up soon, and I was thinking to spend some time with you before I travel over to Abuja to spend time with my wife. Oh, I forgot to mention, him and his wife were estranged. So they were separated, but they weren't fully divorced. And 2 daughters lived with the wife in Abuja. So there's that. And he's over here in Lagos all by himself. So he tells her, I'm thinking of traveling to Abuja to spend my birthday with my family. My kids would love to spend the day with me. Like she said, he's a family man, a happy father. I would like to spend some quality time with you prior to my trip. What you think? And she's like, yep, let's do that. I will be on my way over, okay? And he's like, no, don't come. My house in VGC, which is where he was staying at the time, my house in VGC is currently under renovation, so we cannot be here. I'm thinking we should be somewhere else. Let's touch down on where he lived, this VGC area, because this is how I can paint the picture to you of how rich this man was. Because he rich. Like, this is nothing compared to living in Banana Island, which I don't even know. If I were to see the map of Lagos, I can't even point out which area on the map is Banana Island. I can't. I've never even passed by the place before. I've never gone in there before, so I can't speak for there. But VGC, oh Lord, I've been there. I worked for this construction company that does interior and exterior decor, and our client just bought a house in VGC. So they come to us, I don't really like the style of the place. I would like to, change up a couple of things. And since that's what we do, we're like, sure. The company sends a couple of consultants over to the client's place to consult with the client so we know how they need our help and how we can help them. And I happen to be among the people who sent over there. We get to the gate. Oh my God, this gate is ginormous. It's ginormous. Even if you were a bug, you can't sneak in there. Like, you can't just fly quietly in there. A zapper will zap you. That's how heavy the security is. We get there and they flag us to slow down. We park and they're like, where are you going? And we say, we're going to this place and this place, this property. They ask us, okay, are they expecting you? We said, yes, they are expecting us. So they said, okay, since they're expecting you, what is your passcode? And we're like, say what now? And they said, passcode. What's the passcode for that particular residence? And we're like, nobody said anything about a passcode. They're like, we're sorry, we can't let you in. Every residence here has a generated, automatically generated passcode daily, that if you want to go in there, you need to give the passcode. I have no idea if this is the way that place still works now, but back in 2020, that was the nature of the place, because I was there in 2020, so I don't know if it's still operating that way now, but that was my experience back then. They asked for the passcode and we're like, okay, we don't have it. They said, well, call the residents and ask them for the passcode. So we call the residents and they send the passcode and we give it to them, and they have to confirm that that's indeed the passcode for that particular residence you said you are going. And after confirming, they're like, okay, everybody, hurry up, IDs. So we handed over our IDs and they scanned them and they let us in. When we were leaving, they were like, hold your horses, people, hold it right there. Bling, bling, bling. We have this peasants about to leave. Did they rob you? Did they threaten you? Did they hurt you? Can we let them out? And they're like, yeah, they're good to go. And then they let us out. So that's what the community is like. And that's not even the richest part of Lagos. Banana Island stands as one of the richest part of Lagos. So he owned a property there as well. So this man's rich. That being said, he tells her, oh, my place is being renovated, so let's meet somewhere else. Say a rented apartment. And she goes, okay, that works for me too, because it's not the first time they've been at rented apartments. Most of the times he was more comfortable with them meeting at rented apartments, so it wasn't strange. She's like, sure, let's do that. And he says, well, why don't you scout for a place you like and let me know. So she does just that, gets back to him. I found this place in Lekki, it's really nice. And he goes, good. Why don't you go there in person and see if you actually like the place? She does just that. She goes over to the place and she checks it out and she calls him to tell him, yeah, I'm here. It's really good. I like it. And this is on the 13th of June. So now the time frame is 13th June 2021. He sends her the money and tells her to get the place. And she's just chilling and waiting for him to arrive, which he later on arrives. And they decided, why don't we go out and get some food, drinks, and some recreation, drugs, whatever. So they head out together and they buy food, they buy drinks, they buy 2 types of drugs. One is called Loud and the other is called SK. Some research sources called it Rufinol. So I don't know if those are the same things or if those are 2 different drugs. But SK, I don't know what it looks like. And honestly, I was not really interested in researching to see what it is because I don't want to broaden my portfolio of drugs that I know. Yeah, they got drugs, eat, drink, do drugs, and every other thing in between. 13th goes by, 14th comes around, and you're running low on supplies. And he tells her, contact your contact and tell him you need more. So she calls her contact. Yes, there's more drugs, there's more this, there's more that. They have more supplies. And they just keep going till the 15th of June. Again, they're out of supplies. So he tells her one more time, why don't you get more supplies? And she's like, okay, I will go in person, okay? So she gets some money from him and she said she also got his card, which he gave her to make payments for food and stuff like that. And she heads out. According to her, as she's heading out, he comes with her to the door and he locks the door after her. So she heads out, she buys everything they need, comes back, and because he had locked the door after her, she knocks. No response. Nobody opens the door. And she's like, okay, maybe he did leave the door open afterwards before doing whatever else he wants to do, maybe use the bathroom or take a nap. So he must have left the door open for me in case I returned. So let me try opening the door, and the door opens. She walks in and she says, first thing she noticed is that everything has been thrown around. Her bag that was on the table is down on the floor, clothes are thrown everywhere, the whole place thrashed like someone had broken in. So she's like, okay, this is strange. Did somebody break in? What is happening? So she says she keeps walking into the room and she's noticing all these things that are out of place, and then she sees Michael on the floor in his pool of blood. And she says she's panicky, she doesn't know what to think, she doesn't know how to react. So she runs to him and checks for a pulse. According to her, there was no pulse. That's when she was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, he's dead, oh shit, what do I do? She said in that nick of time, she didn't know what else to do other than to get the hell out of there. That's what she does. But as she's leaving, she's grabbing things with her. She grabs her personal things with her. And she said there was stuff on the table, like the TV set table, that had things that weren't hers, which means they were Michael's. And she was too panicky to even think, so she grabbed those as well. And as she was about to leave, she noticed that she had blood all over her from the time she had run to check his pulse. So she took off the clothes, she put it in a black plastic bag, and she changed into a new clothes, and then she left. So now she's leaving with the bloody clothes, her personal belongings, and also Michael's items. According to her, she goes back home. She's still very much in shock. So she called the owner of the apartment they rented, and she's like, I haven't heard from Michael ever since I left the place. I left the place before him. He was still there when I left, but I haven't heard from him. He's not answering my calls or anything. Can you please send someone to the room and see if he's okay? And this is on the same day, on the 15th, after she left. The owner of the apartment says, okay, I will tell my security guy to go over and check. So the security goes over, and that is how Michael's body is discovered and the authorities are called. Approximately 8 days after, Chidinma is arrested by the police, and there are a series of events that happened that has made this case to drag out for the next 4 years. For the past 4 years it's been in court, and we're hoping sometime next year we're going to get a verdict, because the stories keep changing and things just keep getting out of perspective. So I will try to simplify things as best as possible. So now when Chidi is arrested, she says that when she arrived at the police station, they asked her to write her statement, and she said that her rights weren't read to her. None of her rights were being exercised. So she asked for her rights to be raised, and she's like, I'm supposed to have a lawyer here. Why don't I have a lawyer? Someone should call me a lawyer. I shouldn't be writing my statements without a lawyer. And she also did say that when she was still at home before she was arrested, she was with her parents. She said her mother and her stepfather and her sister, and a girl in the neighborhood, like the compound, did run to her and told her that the police were here looking for her on the day she was arrested. That was on the 23rd of June 2021. So the police came over to arrest her, and she claims that one of the policemen slapped her, and her father stepped in and tried to defend her. She maintained her innocence, saying that she walked in to meet him like that. She did not do anything to hurt him or harm him in any way. But eventually she was faced with evidence as to a different narrative. And they told her, we believe you had something to do with this. There are bank trails showing that money were taken from Michael's account after he was dead. And we believe you took that money. Why would you take money from his account after you just walked him to find him dead? And you were in shock. And she responds saying, no, I didn't steal any money from him. Any payments or transactions that happened from his account on that day were transactions that he authorized. Like, he gave me his card when I went out so I can pay for food, and for the drugs and other stuff I paid with cash. And they were like, okay, how about after, like on a different day, days after, because there's the 5 million, how to explain that? And she's like, I never took 5 million from his account. I did take money from his account, but it wasn't 5 million. It was 200,000. In an interview, she was asked, touching on the case of her saying she took 200,000 from his account instead of 5 million. She said, well, he used to give me a lot of money. Before I met him, I used to work as an usher at events, and she used to make enough money to get by. When she met him, he started to take care of her, buy her things, give her money, and it's also said that he also helped her with her tuition. So he was taking really good care of her. And she confirms that, saying that he used to give her a lot of money. He gave her way more money than she would ever make from her ushering job, and that he was a very generous man. So also, his laptop was missing from the scene. And she says, no, I didn't steal that laptop. The laptop was actually mine. It used to be his, but at that time it was mine, because I did go to him saying that I needed a laptop so I could use for schoolwork and stuff like that. And I asked him to buy me a laptop, but then he said, oh, I have 2 laptops. One does the job, so why don't I just give you one and I will keep using the other? She rebuffs that, saying, no, I did not steal his laptop. It used to be his laptop, but he had gifted it to me prior to that time, so it was my laptop. His family couldn't reach him on days leading to his birthday. They got really worried and they tried to reach him, because he's not responding, he's not talking to anyone, but his messages are being delivered. His calls are going through, but no one's answering. His friend, Michael's friend, on Michael's birthday, he couldn't reach Michael. He kept calling and calling and calling, no answer. He sent a WhatsApp message. The WhatsApp message wasn't replied, but it was delivered. So he's worried. His family cannot reach him. Everyone's worried. And even on his birthday, which, remember, he was planning to visit his family, to spend his birthday with his family, and they didn't hear from him even on the birthday, and he didn't come to Abuja. So the friend is like, something sus. So he decided to hire people to track Michael's phone, and the phone was said to be in one of the hostel rooms on campus in the University of Lagos. And every time they pinged it, it was always in a different location. Every time they pinged it, it was in a different location, meaning that whoever had it was always on the move. And she claims, no, that was not me. That was Quadri. I would just call him Quadri. Quadri was her supplier. So every time she had to buy the drugs, the said SK and Loud, she would contact Quadri and he would supply her with whatever she needed. How did Quadri get into this case? Well, she claims that when she was out to buy food on the 15th and the drugs and other stuff, which she came back to see Michael dead, she claims that she believes that someone must have come in to ransack the place, and they stumble into Michael, and Michael tries to fight them off, and they end up killing Michael. She says Quadri had his phone, that the phone wasn't with her, that Quadri had the phone. Eventually, she decided to say a different thing. Okay, yeah, I killed him. I stabbed him 3 times because Michael died of stab wounds. He was stabbed twice in the neck and once in the chest. And she claims, or she says, yes, I stabbed him. So now she's been asked, why? Why did you stab him? Because according to you, he was taking good care of you. He gave you gifts, gave you his laptop, gave you more money than you would ever make from your actual job. And he was helping you with your tuition. So why would you kill him? And she says, he was abusive. How was he abusive? And she goes, while we were there, we did a lot of things. On the 15th, she was very tired. She just wanted to sleep. And Michael's coming on to her. She was asked to elaborate what she meant by he was coming up onto her, but she wouldn't. He was just coming onto me, and I kept trying to tell him to leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep, and he wouldn't. Eventually, one thing leads to the other, and she stabs him twice in the throat, and he starts to fight back, and they're running around the apartment. He's trying to defend himself, and on the other hand, he's trying to also disarm her. They start to fight over the knife. Eventually, he grabs the knife. While he's trying to get the knife from her, the knife breaks. Michael has the handle of the knife, the butt of the knife. The other part of the knife, which is the blade, falls on Chidi, and she grabs it, and that's when she says she stabs him in the chest, and he falls backward. He's very weak, can't fight back anymore, and then he dies. That's when she gets up. She's panicking. She grabs her things, about to leave, but then realizes she has blood all over her, so she changes her outfit into new clothes, and then she skedaddles. There are a couple of interviews where she tells the story. Now the state believes that definitely this crime was premeditated, because there is this incriminating fact that is not really in her favor. It said that when she was booking the apartment, she did not use her actual phone number to register for the room. She used a fake number. She still sticks to the fact that she didn't plan it. It was an accident.
Don't talk much about himself. He's quite busy, like a busy person. I would say that at some point I got to know that he likes to carry girls, and he smokes, he drinks, and takes drugs also. So I don't know deep about him. His character, he gets angry easily. He has issue with his wife, but his children is what is targeted as family man. He wasn't into happy married life or something. He was just more of catering for his kids. Michael gave me his laptop. He had 2 laptops, so I told him that I wanted laptops, so he gave me one, and that was what I sold to get the money. It was Mac Pro. I wasn't doing ushering when I was with him anymore. I was getting more from him than doing the ushering, so there was no need on ushering. Ushering can be 15K, 20K. It gives me more than the ushering. The apartment where it was said it was leaking on the 13th. I decided to check online. So that was when I decided to check for a shortlet. So I sent it to him, and he said it was okay. Then he said I should go check the place out. So I checked it and it was okay. Then he made payments. He sent 105. That was for 4 days. After I paid the money, so after 1 hour, he came. When he came, then we went to get food. We went out to eat and also get drinks. we're just indoor watching movie, drinking, smoking. He woke up before me, but I was still feeling sleepy and dizzy because of the smoke, drink, and the drug. So he asked what I need, like what we need. So I was like, we need to buy food and drug because the drug that we brought already finished. He sent the money to their account. Why the other one? He gave me the card because I was trying to make payments and it didn't go through. So he gave me the card. I didn't have access to his card, but I know the PIN code. Before I was leaving, he stood up to lock the door. But when I got in, I was knocking. As there was no answer, I opened the door, was already open, like it wasn't locked. And the duvet was on the floor, plus pillows. The couch was facing the door, and the bed was stained with blood already, and the floor where it was blood, and then music was on, the TV was on. The room was already disarranged, like someone broke in. Then I saw him on the floor. I didn't know what to do. I took my things with his thing and left. I just left. I was packing my things to leave. Then I noticed that my clothes was stained, so I changed it to another. I took the bag that contained his ID and documents, bank statements. My bag was already on the floor. I met my bag on the floor. And then the stuff it was with was on the TV set. That's where the stuff I took was on the TV set. So I just packed them and just put them into the nylon and left. I took his phone the following week. I was home, then I went out to withdraw some money from the ATM that I was with. I withdrew 200. Before that day, on Tuesday, he already told me that he's going to give me the money that I requested for. And when I came out, when I was arrested, and they were saying I made away with 5 million naira, there was no 5 million naira in the account. I just did it. It's not like I had something to do with his death. I never had anything to do with his death. The lady that I rented the apartment from, I had to message her that she should please probably send the security guy to check on him. That I haven't heard from him. That's what I said to her. And they came to my house and they arrested me, took me to station. I didn't involve anybody. I don't know who must have come into the apartment. Definitely somebody did that, but I don't know who that person is. I don't know what happened when I left to buy the food. I don't know. Because of the thing I did after not alerting police and then also withdrawing money, I feel guilty for what happened. I did not kill him. I'm not sure whether I did not kill him, but my doings, taking his money and not reporting the police, I believe that somebody knew where we were and then waited till I left before they could enter.
For now, this is where I'm going to leave you on this case because there are no final verdicts, so I can't tell you how the case ends. And when it does, I will definitely tell you in case you miss it in the news. So please leave your opinions in the comment section, your thoughts, and if there were any facts that were misrepresented or miscommunicated, please do let me know in the comment section below. And if there are any added information about this case that I forgot to mention or I am unaware of, please also let it known in the comment section below. And please do your own research. And if there are any other topics or cases that you'd like for me to look into, please also leave that in the comment section below and I will respond to them as soon as possible. And please make good choices. Hang out with the right crowd. I don't want to talk about you. Take care of yourself. Be good. Stay healthy and stay alive. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.